जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीर वनचारी यमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी राधा गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीर वनचारी यमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. Hare Krishna. So I'm feeling very embarrassed sitting here. The verse is so important verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. If only I knew that His Grace Prithu Prabhu is also here and His Grace Rai Shampu is here, I would have preferred to sit down and hear from them. One of the oft quoted verses of Srila Prabhupada, and has deep meanings, and I'm sure they would have elucidated much more from there than what I can speak. But I will request for their blessings and mercy, and I'll make some attempt to speak on this verse now that I have been put here. So we're discussing today from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 18, chapter entitled The Residents of Jambudvip Offer Prayers. And we're discussing on text 12, 5, 18, 12. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagvatya kinchana sarvair gunaistatra samasate suraha harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathena satidhavato bahihi yasyasti bhaktir bhagvatya kinchana sarvair gunaistatra samasate suraha harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathena satidhavato bahihi yasyasti bhaktir bhagvatya kinchana sarvair gunaistatra samasate suraha harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathena satidhavato bahihi. Vaishnavis. Yasya, of whom? Asti, there is. Bhakti, devotional service. Bhagavati, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Akinchana, without any motive. Sarvaihi, with all. Gunaihi, good qualities. Tatra, there, in that person. Samasate, reside. Suraha, all the demigods. Harau, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Abhaktasya, of a person who is not devoted. Kutaha, where? Mahad gunaha, good qualities. Manorathena, by mental speculation. Asati, in the temporary material world. Dhavataha, who is running. Bahihi, outside. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. All the demigods and their exalted qualities such as religion, knowledge and renunciation become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities has no good qualities. Even he is adept at the practice of mystic yoga or the honest endeavor of maintaining his family and relatives, he must be driven by his own mental speculations and must engage in service of Lord's external energy. How can there be any good qualities in such a man? Purport. As explained in the next verse, Krishna is the original source of all living entities. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 15.7, wherein Krishna says, Mamaivamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha manah shasthani indriyani prakruti sthani karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. All living entities are part and parcel of Krishna. Therefore, when they revive their original Krishna consciousness, they possess all the good qualities of Krishna in a small quantity. When one engages himself in the 9 processes of devotional service, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Pada Sevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam, Sakhyamatma Nivedanam. One's heart becomes purified and he immediately understands his relationship with Krishna. He then revives his original quality of Krishna consciousness. In the Adi Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita chapter 8, there is a description of some of the qualities of devotees. For example, Sri Pandit Haridas is described as being very well behaved, tolerant, peaceful, magnanimous and grave. In addition, he spoke very sweetly. His endeavors were very pleasing. He was always patient. He respected everyone. He always worked for everyone's benefit. His mind was free of duplicity and he was completely devoid of all malicious activities. These are all originally qualities of Krishna. And when one becomes a devotee, they automatically become manifest. Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, says that all good qualities become manifest in the body of a Vaishnava, and that only by the presence of these good qualities can one distinguish a Vaishnava from a non-Vaishnava. Krishnadas Kaviraj lists the following 26 good qualities of a Vaishnava. 1. He is very kind to everyone. 2. He does not make anyone his enemy. 3. He is truthful. 4. He is equal to everyone. 5. No one can find any fault in him. 6. He is magnanimous. 7. He is mild. 8. He is always clean. 9. He is without possessions. 10. He works for everyone's benefit. 11. He is very peaceful. 12. He is always surrendered to Krishna. 13. He has no material desires. 14. He is very meek. 15. He is steady. 16. He controls his senses. 17. He does not eat more than required. 18. He is not influenced by the Lord's illusory energy. 19. He offers respect to everyone. 20. He does not desire any respect for himself. 21. He is very grave. 22. He is very merciful. 23. He is friendly. 24. He is poetic. 25. He is expert. And last 26. He is silent. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamaiham Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitan Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinataharinam. Hare Krishna. So I would like to welcome all of you for continuing our discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 18, chapter entitled The Residents of Jambudvip Offer Prayers, and we are discussing today on text 12. Before I speak anything, I would like to beg all of your blessings, especially ISKCON Prabhu and ISKCON Shampoo sitting here in the audience, that whatever I speak, it should be in parampara and it should also please all of you. Hare Krishna. So the 9 chapters from 16 to 25 of 5th canto, it describes the cosmology. So entire creation, the material creation. Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra Bhagavan ki Shri Shri Gannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So this entire discussion of cosmology, it is neither descriptive, neither analytical. It's a very devotional description. Right? The whole discussion is very devotional. So the more than 90% of these verses are devotional. Right? So when Shukdev Goswami is taking Parikshit Maharaj around the entire creation, what is situated where, today we are at Jambudvip, and Jambudvip, the residents of Jambudvip are offering prayers. So you find that what is Shukdev Goswami bringing home, what point? Shukdev Goswami wants to tell us that how people all over the world are devoted to bhakti, devoted to the Lord. So a particular Varsha, who is the leader there, which is the deity that he is worshipping, and along with whom he is worshipping, and especially what is the prayer that they are offering. So entire thing is just prayers. So I was listening to His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu was mentioning that He was part of the team who were supposed to design or give Shastric references for the entire cosmology that they need to display at the Mayapur temple, the planetarium that they want to make. And they went to this Srimad Bhagavatam 5th canto to study it and to find it out. So he was mentioning that it was so difficult because it is not descriptive or analytical. It is only devotional. So 90% verses are only devotion. So he was mentioning that even Brahmaji, Brahmaji also may not be completely aware of, that's how Bhagavatam brings it, the entire creation, how the Visarga happens, it is all inspiration from the Lord and the way it is. So he was mentioning that, in case somebody gives us Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit, and we discuss about Prabhupada's travels throughout America, right, during that period, and somebody tells us, study Lilamrit and now make a map of America. Right, wherever Prabhupada went, now start making a map of America, it would be so difficult. Similarly, they experienced difficulty. So the planetarium, if it has to be made, even Brahmaji gets involved, may not be the perfect one, the way Krishna has made it, the way Krishna inspired it. So what is Shukdev Goswami doing here? Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says there are two kinds of devotees. One is Saragrahi and one is Bharavahi. Right? What is Shukdev Goswami? He takes the essence and gives us. He's Saragrahi. Right? Not the Bharavahi kind of a person who takes so much load of so many things but forgets Krishna. Right? And that's what is happening in today's verse also. Right? So the essence is not to understand the cosmology, but to understand how the principle of devotion pervades through the entire cosmology. Right? So, so today's verse, this verse is quite oft-repeated verse by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada would say, you don't need anything, only devotional service. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagvatya kinchana. If you perform devotional service to Krishna, all the wonderful qualities of Suraha, the demigods, will appear in a person. But for a non-devotee, what good qualities can they possess? Manorathena sati dhavato bahi. They are running on the chariot of the mind. Right? So Srila Prabhupada, when he brought his disciples to India, they would go to different cities, stay at the house of different life members or influential people. And Prabhupada had to, many times take the side of his disciples saying, they are young, they don't know the culture, so please accept them, right? And Prabhupada would time and again tell, but they are surrendered to Krishna. You see, that quality you should see in them. Everything else, everything good will manifest. So especially when devotees, so Prabhupada, on one side, Prabhupada would take the side of his disciples, his devotees, that they are surrendered to Krishna. At one time they were in Surat and they were living at the house of one influential businessman there. And devotees, when they were staying in that house, they stayed there for a couple of weeks. And this businessman, he was serving them very nice prasadam. Right? And the devotees mentioned that, we were overeating. Our health was going bad. Prabhupada could observe it. And many times we would even order, can you get this particular prasadam? Can you get this item? Hey, please bring this more. And this elderly gentleman, the host whose house they were staying at, he would bring them prasadam. And devotees could observe that they were very unclean also when they were living there. They were not maintaining the cleanliness standard also. Prabhupada was also observing it. Right? But the day when they were supposed to depart from that house and move on, this host, he came forward and he had tears in his eyes. And this person told devotees, please forgive me in case I committed any offense while serving you. I may not be qualified to serve all of you. Right? And this person gave envelopes to each devotee with 51 rupees in that era, imagine, 51 rupees in that. And Prabhupada, with his big eyes, he looked at devotees and said, this is a Vaishnava. This is a quality of a Vaishnava, who is so humble, who is so, he's begging for forgiveness when we should have done this. So Prabhupada at one side was telling his disciples, he was taking side of his disciples, they're serving Krishna, they're surrendered to Krishna, look at that. And Prabhupada, when he observed deeper level of Vaishnava qualities, he told his disciples, this is Vaishnavism. This is actually what is called a Vaishnava who has these qualities, right? So this verse, there are 5 entities involved, right? If you see the verse Krishna, demigods, and so Krishna is there, the demigods are there, the pure devotees are there, the mixed devotees are there, and the materialists are there. Now this equation has to be understood the way this verse tells us. And all the acharyas have commented on this verse, and Srila Prabhupada, if you see, Prabhupada in the translation itself, the translation does not follow the Sanskrit. He adds certain more things in the translation, taking clue from Sridhar Swami and Vishwanath Thakur especially. Prabhupada adds few things there in the translation itself. So Krishna is there, the demigods are there, the pure devotees, the mixed devotees, and the materialist. What is going on in between them? Yasyasti bhaktir bhagvatya akinchana. Whoever has bhakti for akinchana bhakti, who has bhakti for the Lord, the pure devotees, all the good qualities of the demigods manifest in that person. But the verse is saying, harava abhaktaha, the non-devotee, what good quality can they have? The materialist cannot have any good qualities. Manorathena sati dhavato bahi. So I have less time with me here. I'm also trying to put as many things possible from the different acharyas. Then I'll come back to Srila Prabhupada's purport. So Srila Sridhar Swami, when he gives commentary to this verse, he says, when the devotees hear Mukunda Vikrama, the greatness of Lord Mukunda, they discuss it in association of devotees, that purifies the heart. Right? He puts that condition first. This purification is happening because the devotee is hearing the glories of Krishna, the topics about Krishna, they become alive in association of devotees. The devotee becomes inspired, and katha becomes sweet nectar to the ears and the heart. And this is how a devotee gets direction how to progress ahead in bhakti, and all the good qualities manifest in that devotee. 3rd canto, 25th chapter, 25th verse also talks about Satam prasangan mama virya samvido pavantiritkarna rasayana kata tajjoshanada shwapavarga vartmani shraddha ratir bhaktir anukshramishyati. Srila Vishwanath Thakur also says that this demonstrates the super excellence of this devotee who has developed these wonderful qualities in association of devotees. And while in association of devotees, what has been done? The hearing of Krishna Katha. This hearing of Krishna Katha will manifest all the good qualities in this devotee. So all the acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, the translation itself, he says, Jnana and Vairagya. Right? Jnana, Vairagya, he says knowledge, detachment, and religion, knowledge, and detachment. And Prabhupada says they get manifest in a devotee, these exalted qualities. So Sridhar Swami says this, dharma and jnana, dharma jnanadi bhi saha, this will manifest in a devotee. And jnana and vairagya, Vishwanath Thakur says, jnana and vairagya will manifest in him. And nityam vasanti, Vishwanath Thakur says, these qualities always reside in a devotee. What about a non-devotee? They are also endeavoring, they are also making an attempt. Vishwanath Thakur says, the maximum they can attempt is for moksha. Not more than that. And moksha lagutakrit, devotional service, makes it moksha laghu. In front of devotion, what is moksha? The non-devotees can maximum reach to that point. So, what is the lesson to be derived? We are not able to develop those good qualities because we do not have bhakti. And we do not have bhakti because we are not investing in right association. Or converse, many a times we invest in wrong association. As much as we are investing in even a little bit in the wrong association, right? Sometimes a practicing devotee may think, I'm studying Srimad Bhagavatam, I am, staying in association of devotees, but a little poison we allow it to go in. These good qualities will not manifest. right? Bhagavati akinchana bhakti, right? Unless we understand that purity of devotional service is maintained, these wonderful qualities will not manifest in a devotee. So Srila Sanatana Goswami, in his commentary, he takes this word akinchana. What is this akinchana? He says akinchana means you have nothing, right? Nishkinchana means pure. That means one is stripped of all material attachments. And when one is stripped of all material attachments, the purity of the soul shines forth. What is this purity of the soul? Srila Sanatana Goswami, which Srila Prabhupada also repeats, we are part and parcel of Krishna. As part and parcel of Krishna, these qualities are naturally there in us. But what is happening? Because akinchana bhakti is not there, those material attachments are still hovering there. They block it, right? Like there are so many light bulbs all around. All the sources of light are ultimately reflecting, Srila Prabhupada says, the light of the sun. So, Krishna's qualities shine forth through the devotee, through the soul, because the soul is part and parcel of Krishna. So, all these qualities, the 26 qualities, Krishna has unlimited qualities. To name a few, Srila Prabhupada is giving 26 here, repeating it from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. These 26 qualities shine forth. But what is the root of all these qualities? Srila Sanatana Goswami says, akinchana bhakti. That kind of devotional service. Now, Srila Jiva Goswami, in his commentary, he puts one question. Okay, the devotee is a practicing devotee, making an attempt for practicing pure devotional service. Krishna's qualities are there. So, all the good qualities of demigods get manifest in this devotee. Jiva Goswami asked this question, where do these demigods get these qualities from? If the good qualities of demigods are getting manifested in a devotee, where are the demigods getting it from? Srila Jiva Goswami clarifies, these demigods are also part and parcel of Krishna. They are also getting it from Krishna only. So originally all the qualities of Bhagavan, right? They're all the qualities of Bhagavan, they're qualities of Krishna, and his qualities shine through. So, Jiva Goswami, then he asks this question, then what is the difference between Nishkanchana Bhakta, reflecting these qualities, and the demigods reflecting these qualities? He says there is a lot of difference. Especially the difference is the demigods are mixed devotees. Many a times they are affected by material gunas, right? Like, so the demigods also have material desires, right? Like Surya and Shani, inka jamta nahi, they don't go well together. You find Indra, getting affected by so much lust and many other things, right? So these devatas are also sakama bhaktas, right? Now we practicing devotees, we have material desires, but our desires get fulfilled at a very gross level, very, very gross level. But that's not the case with demigods. They are better placed than us for sure. Even with their material desires, those material desires get fulfilled at a very, subtle level. So Jiva Goswami says, in a pure devotee, samasate means, this word samasate he takes samasate should mean nityam. That these qualities completely stay there in a pure devotee, right? So the pure devotee is reflecting the qualities of Krishna, because a pure devotee is a nishkinchana bhakta. All the material attachments, all the material desires, now their only desire to serve Krishna. Now the devotee reflects the pure qualities of Krishna. Because a devotee, Srila Prabhupada would use the phrase, is a transparent via medium. Srila Prabhupada uses this phrase, right? Transparent via medium. Sarva Deva Maya, right? So as if the pure devotee is made of all demigods only, nothing. All the demigods with all their good qualities, they reside in a devotee. Now, Jiva Goswami, because he'll have to ask this question, he says, now the demigods have their good part and the bad part. Right? They have their flaws also. Now, all the good qualities of the in a pure, all the qualities of the demigods, they reside in a pure devotee. Does it mean the doshas also, the flaws of demigods, do they also reside in a devotee? So he says, samasate should be understood to mean that all the good qualities reside there. Sama asate, none of the bad flaws reside there. And Vishwanath Thakur discusses this in great detail. I have less time with me now. Or time is over. So, what should I do? It's already 8:44. It's 8:49. 8:49. So, so Srila Vishwanath Thakur says, what is the issue with the demigods? Srila Vishwanath Thakur says the demigods have to deal with the material world. And especially they have to deal with the materialistic people and with their material desires. And the demigods have to award as per their karma. The materialistic souls, the souls with material desires, they have certain karma and they have to award them or restrict certain things, right? Like our senses, each of the senses one adhisthata demigod, right? And that demigod controls the particular sense as per the karma of that person. Now when the demigods have to deal with it, what happens? The demigods also want to be very careful. Hey Baba, with this person, something will stick on me, right? Like the doctor has to be very careful when he's dealing with the patients, right? His immunity should be very good, right? Then only, otherwise the infection will come on the doctor also. Srila Prabhupada would tell to the preachers, when you go out, be very careful. Your sadhana should be so good that you give your association to them, you don't take their association, right? But the demigods, when they have to deal, now demigods are also mixed devotees, right? When they end up dealing with it, right? We have, Agnidhara, right? And the yajna was going on and Agni got attracted, right? Got affected, right? So what happens? The demigods also being mixed devotees, when they deal with the material world, so Srila Vishwanath Thakur says they also want to be very careful. Nahi Baba, idhar jada der nahi rukne ka. I don't want to deal with it. That's why even if the materialists, they display good qualities, those good qualities do not last with them for long. Because the demigods don't want to stay with them. I don't want to deal with this person for long. So harav abhakta kuto mahadguna means the demigods don't want to be with them because they have these lower tendencies, and the demigods, so the pure devotee, only the good qualities shine forth because the devotees are concerned only with pure devotion. But for the mixed devotee, right, it is going to be commensurate to the degree of attachment or detachment. So therefore, two aspects are there with non-devotees. One is their good qualities, even if apparently they are present, the good qualities in them, they could have good knowledge, they could have sometimes cleanliness. These qualities can be seen, surely can be seen. And sometimes, we may also feel, right, that wow, look at their hotels, look at their companies, look at their cities, they're so clean. Our temples also should be spotlessly clean like that. We can take that inspiration from them, but we should know that their cleanliness is what it is, does not have the foundation of pure devotional service. That quality will not remain long with them, right? Like, sometimes you'll find a very posh car, they're from upscale families, and then when they're on the expressway, they'll put down their window, they will spit. Or they will throw a little junk outside, Apparently they're themselves very clean, but the situation, they'll be overcome by situations sometimes, right? Their desires are not in their control. Mano rathena sati dhavato bahi. So for the materialist, even if they display good qualities, the first problem is, it is temporary. That is the first problem. And the second problem with them is, even if they have some good qualities, some ugly qualities are also side by side present. that also spoils everything, right? Like, you are given sweet rice with a little sand. It tastes good, but it gives trouble when you're trying to eat. So, Srila Vishwanath Thakur, he says, asati means temporary. He says unreal. So, to the extent that we have mundane interest, to that degrees, doshas will also be present in us. And to the degree that we are transparent, to that degree, divine qualities will also manifest in us. So Srila Vishwanath Thakur says asati means temporary. That means their so-called good qualities will not last, because bahir artha manina, and they are running on the chariot of the mind, and the mind runs very fast. The gati is too fast. It does not chanchala he manah Krishna. It does not stick to one place. But the pure devotee sticks to one place. That is the lotus feet of Krishna. Krishna is abode of all qualities. The demigods receive from them, right? So the aspiring devotees is getting awarded the qualities from the demigods. The pure devotee, on the other hand, completely transparent via medium, reflects the complete qualities of Krishna. So, I was listening to His Holiness Sri Sachinandan Swami Maharaj, and Maharaj was mentioning very good things. Two things he says, right? In one of his podcasts, he says two things happen when you chant the holy name of Krishna. Right? What are these two things happening with a devotee? He says that bhakti, someone performing bhakti gets elevated. He changes, right? So bhakti, it transforms our mind and intelligence, almost something like an alchemical process. How is bhakti bringing in this transformation? Just as by alchemical process, you can transform bell metal into gold. Similarly, he says, a devotee, how he comes to Krishna consciousness and what he becomes. Right? When we go through that journey, what happens? We understand, wow, there is so much change happening in a devotee. And Maharaj very humbly says that my disciples presented me a photo book on the 50th anniversary of my coming to Krishna consciousness. And this photo book, entire photo book, he says, the first page I saw, and I saw some people in Hamburg, Germany, and I saw a guy with, jeans and with hairs, falling on his face. I was like, who is this person? And my disciples told me, Maharaj, that's you. Maharaj, that's you. And I looked at, oh, that's me. So much rage, so much anger, so many dirty things in me at that time. And I had just gone with devotees for a Harinam Sankirtan. And then Maharaj says, I turned the photo book page by page, and I reached the last page. And here I saw a person sitting under a banyan tree in Vrindavan, meditatively chanting Hare Krishna. And this time I didn't have to ask, who is this person? It was me. And Maharaj said, I just thought about myself. The first page, what was I? And the last page, what have I become? Maharaj says, that's the transformation bhakti can bring in a person. So in Namamrit, the nectar of the holy name, Srila Prabhupada, is paraphrased there from Prabhupada's writing. Prabhupada says, the body is a symbolic representation of material bondage according to one's karma. Although sometimes we cannot see the gross body changing, chanting the holy name of the Supreme Lord immediately changes the subtle body. And because the subtle body changes, the living entity is immediately freed from the material bondage. Right? So, the second principle Maharaj says, the transformation that bhakti brings is wonderful good qualities that come in a person. The second thing is, it says, the empowerment that it brings. Right? New devotees, they come in and they're like, what can I do for Guru? What can I do for spiritual master's mission? And very soon, those who remain in association of devotees, those who regularly hear Krishna Katha in association of devotees, very soon you find empowered personalities. What? Brahmanda starite Shakti dhare jane jane. How does it come by? This is the power of bhakti. So, 5th canto, 1st chapter, 35th verse, Srila Prabhupada says, since the Supreme Lord is all powerful, He can do things that seem wonderful for a common man. Similarly, a devotee who has taken shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord can also do wonderful things unimaginable to a common man by the grace of the dust of those lotus feet. Right? A simple common man can do wonderful things by the mercy of the Lord. That empowerment by the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord, or the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami gives his own example. What empowerment I received. So he says, Ami Vruddha Jaratur likhite kapaye kar mane kichu smaran na hai, na dekhiye nayane na shuniye shravane, tabu likhi ei bada vismay. He says, Vruddha Jaratur ami andha badhir, hasta hale manobuddhi nahe mora sthir, nana rogagrasta chalite vasite na pari. I cannot stand, I cannot walk, I cannot sit. Pancha roga pida vyakul ratri dine mari. Whole day and night I may die at any time, he's saying. Then he says in the Antelila, Ami likhi ei mithya kori anuman. I am not writing. He says, I am not able to do this task by myself. Amara sharir kashta putli saman. My body at this moment is just like a wooden doll moved by another. Who is moving it? Srila Raghunath Das Goswami is moving it. Who is moving it? Srila Madan Mohan. Srila Radha Madan Mohan is moving it. So this is what happens in bhakti. And Maharaj ends his podcast so beautifully. Maharaj says, and we are dealing with the Lord who doesn't understand the word impossible. Imagine. Right? What can happen? Like Srila Prabhupada would say, impossible is the word in a fool's dictionary. Now when we are performing bhakti, what can happen? Impossible transformation. That we all know also, ourselves would be wonderstruck. काय होतास तू? काय झालास तू? Man, what were you? And what have you become? What my tiny being were you? And by the mercy of Guru and by mercy of Krishna, what empowerment one can receive. And Srila Prabhupada wanted each of his followers to follow in his footsteps and do that wonderful service in the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But how can that happen? In the association of devotees, sincere devotees, and hearing Krishna Katha, Srila Sridhar Swami is mentioned. Thank you very much. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki, Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. It's a beautiful class. And it is a fact, if one looks back, and I can look back now, over a long time, quite a long time, there's definitely something happening gradually. One can do things after a long time that one was not able to do before that. So gradually, this process of bhakti takes root by this process of Krishna consciousness associated with the devotees, preaching Krishna consciousness and trying to please Srila Prabhupada. It's a gradual process, just like Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur used to say that we are misdirected when we come into the material world. We are misdirected. And so the progress means gradual adjustment into the right direction. And so that's kind of what's happening, that in Krishna consciousness, gradually, we're getting there. We are surprised if you look back that yes, there is some progress there. Imperceptible, it's not perceivable, but gradually you see, like Maharaj looked at the picture when he had long hair, and I know him from that time, by the way. and I know when he was in the movement, in the beginning he was dancing like mad, doing kirtans on the street. And it's very different. It's very different now. He has gone a long way. And so we all can have this hope that we go a long way if we just keep to it, if we just keep on working for Prabhupada and for the pleasure of Krishna and do the things that Prabhupada asks us to do. There's nothing more I can add. Your lecture was complete. I thank you so much. Hare Krishna.